This video will outline the progress that I have made, along with things I've learned about how to improve without having access to a real-time coach. Briefly notice where I began. Here is where I am now. When I first started playing, I would go to YouTube and not only watch professional matches, but I would also look to find videos that discussed proper technique or how to improve on proper technique. But badminton is a complex sport, along with the fact that I started when I was 35 years old and I had no foundation to any of the basic principles. I had such a hard time unlearning bad habits. From this clip, you can see some of the bad habits I had right from the beginning. My grip for overhead shots was panhandle. And because of that, I used a lot of wrist flexion. My shot selection was non-existent. I really was just trying to pound the shuttle over the net. And if you look at my footwork, well, that consisted of me just trying to get to the shuttle by any means possible. I so badly wanted to be a better player, but how? What I decided to do is post that very video on the Badminton Central forum, asking for help. Many people replied, and I was given a long list of things to work on. At this time, though, I really didn't appreciate how important footwork was to improve in badminton. Because I didn't have much access to a club outside of playing the doubles games, I set up a shuttle in my garage and I started to practice based on the suggestions I've received on Badminton Central. I did thousands and thousands of swings, with the focus initially on using the proper grip. So I would record myself, post it again on Badminton Central, get more feedback, and then go back to the garage with hundreds and thousands of swings. I did this for many months. After practicing, and I'd go back to the club to play the doubles games, I would notice a little bit of progress each and every time I would play. But what was lacking the most was my movement. Fast forward a couple months, and I found a program called the Footwork Fast Lane Program. It was made by Jonathan over at Swift Badminton. It was a very comprehensive program that taught me the fundamentals when it comes to footwork. And it really was the closest thing I could get to a live coach, and I made significant progress because of having the program, and I'm still using the program today. I would highly recommend anyone who is a beginner to purchase the Footwork Fastlane program from Jonathan, as I made the most progress when I started working on my footwork. So I started training less on my overhead shot and a little bit more on my footwork. Although still at the time, I wasn't 100% convinced in my mind that this is where I needed to spend most of my training. But I continued to work at doing it. But even so, I had timing issues. I didn't make good use of my kinetic chain. Notice me in my smash right here. Something was just off. I could see it, but I didn't know what to do to fix it. So I went back to my garage and tried to get involved, use my hips involved in my stroke. When I had the opportunity, I would try to practice using my hips more into my stroke using a shuttle. Unfortunately, at the club that I belong to, not very often do people want to practice or train, but I did take advantage of every opportunity I had to do so. And any time I was able to practice like this, I found that during the games, I was able to embed in my mind better habits, and in turn, I was playing the game of badminton at a higher level. So I continued to work on my footwork, specifically on doing a better job with my scissor jump. Although I made good improvements in this area, at that time, and even currently, I still struggle with using the force generated by my lower body to transfer it over fully to my upper body. Then every day that I played, I would record and upload my best shots from those games as sort of a video log. I did this weekly for 52 weeks in a row. So after 52 weeks, here is what I've learned. When you have a bad habit, I found it best to start from scratch and learn the skill from the ground up. Whether it's your swing or your footwork, start with the basics and get those right first. Then usually the other details will follow. The second thing that I learned was without a real-time coach, I could only focus on one or maybe two things at a time. Once I was able to create a habit, then I could move on to something else. This would take anywhere from 1 week or sometimes up to many, many months. The next lesson I learned was regarding recording analysis. By me recording my games, it was very helpful for me to not only expose any issues I had so that I knew what I needed to work on, but also it allowed me to see small amounts of progress each week. And when I saw that progress, it kept me motivated to continue training. The next lesson that I learned is that good progress happens more rapidly when you play against good players. Specifically, players who are more skilled than you. On the contrast, if a player allows you to get away with poor shots, it's going to reinforce bad habits. Here's a few examples. If you are playing someone who is weak and you do a lift to mid-court, their attack is not going to be so threatening. So you might get in the habit of not lifting all the way to the back. Another example. If you play against a player who always lifts your serve, then you will never learn how to serve low and tight to the net. Put simply, better players explore your weaknesses. So what's next for me? Well, I have the goal overall to have faster footwork, and also, I just need to relax. To help me accomplish those goals, I once again turned to Swift Badminton, and I purchased one of their new programs. I'd like to give special thanks to Jonathan at Swift Badminton, to the Badminton Central Forum and everyone that's helped me there, and also to the Niagara Rally Badminton Club, the only badminton club in my area.